And now we'll start with the first piece. 2 hands to hold the heavens to regulate the Sanjiao. Interlock your fingers. Inhale. Exhale. Lift up your heels. Hold for 3 seconds. Inhale and come down. Exhale, bend to the side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bend to the other side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale and make the healing sound for the triple burner. Shi, shi. And repeat. In and out. Lift up the heels. Inhale, come down. Exhale, bend to the side. Remember, we're not trying to see how far we can bend. We're just trying to stretch and relax the muscles on the side of the torso. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bend to the other side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, and shi. And we'll continue with 2 hands to hold the heavens. Inhale down. Exhale, bend. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bend to the side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, and shi. Now, the enhancements. In and out. Lift up the heels, of course. Inhale, come down. Turn 45 degrees. Bend on that axis. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bend to the other side. Inhale, come back to center. Come back to square to the front and turn 45 degrees the other direction. Bend on that axis. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Come back to the front. Exhale and healing sound. She. In and out. Inhale, come down. Turn. Exhale, bend. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bend to the other side. Inhale, come back to center. Come back to the front. Turn to the other direction. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Come back to the front. Exhale and she. In and out. In. Out. In. Back to the front. Out. In. Out. In. Come back to the front. She. Okay, that's piece number one. Piece number two is left, right, bend the bow like shooting a hawk in the air. So we step the right foot out up to double shoulder with horse stance. And we're going to squat down, tuck the buttocks under. We're going to feel like we're pulling a very strong bow. Gaze off in the distance like shooting a hawk in the air. Inhale, come up. Exhale, squat down, pull the bow and shoot the other direction. Inhale, come up. Exhale, squat down, pull a very strong bow. Inhale, come back up. Exhale. In and out. In and out. We don't have a healing sound to use on this one. Now, some of the enhancements, imagine that you were shooting a hawk very high in the air. Imagine that you are on a lake and you're on a boat, bow and arrow fishing. Now imagine that you're on horseback and you're being pursued by outlaws. Now imagine that you're on horseback and you're pursuing outlaws. Now, piece number 3. We'll step the right foot back into hip-width distance. Left or right lift singly to regulate the liver and spleen. So be careful with this one because it's important that you have the right coordination with the side of the body and the sound. This being the liver side, this being the spleen side, but as you're looking at me on the screen, this may look like my left side, my spleen side. This might look like my right side, my liver side. So be careful to adjust yourself to be sure that when I'm doing the right side, you're doing your right side, okay? And making the sound for the liver. And when I'm doing the left side and the spleen, be sure that you're on your left side. Liver sound is shoo, shoo, like what I'm wearing on my feet. And the spleen sound is hoo, hoo, like W-H-O, hoo. Okay, we'll start with the left side. So inhale and exhale. Imagine both palms are pushing against slight resistance. Fingertips of the lower hand should point to the front. Hold the position. Inhale. Exhale. And when you feel the area around the spleen relax, make the healing sound. Hoo. Palms face each other. In. Out. Hold the position. In. Out, and healing sound for liver. Shoo. Palms face each other. In. Out. In. Out, and hoo. Palms face each other. In. Out. In. Out, and shoo. In. Out. In. Out. Hoo. In. Out. In. Out, and shoo. In. Out. In. Out. Hoo. In. Out. In. Out. Shoo. In. Out. In. Out. Hoo. In. Out. In. Out. Shoo. In. Out. In. Out. Hoo. In. Out. In. Out. Shoo. And now we'll add enhancement. We're going to turn to the side. So when I raise my left hand in and out, I'm going to turn to my left. Hold this position in. Come back to the front. Out, and sound. Hoo. Now raise my right hand and I turn to my right. In. Out. Hold the position. In. Come back to the front. Out, and shoo. In. Out. Hold the position. In. Back to the front. Out. Hoo. In. Out. In. Back to the front. Shoo. In. Out. In. back to the front, out, whoo, in, out, in, back to the front, out, shoo, in, out, in, back to the front, out, whoo, in, out, in, back to the front, out, shoo, in, out, in, back to the front, whoo, in, out, in, back to the front, shoo, in, out, in, back to the front, whoo, in, out, in, back to the front, shoo, in, out, in, back to the front, whoo, in, out, in, back to the front, shoo, in, out, in, back to the front, whoo, in, out, in, back to the front, and shoo. Let the palms face each other for a moment or two. You may feel energy balancing between the two sides. And then we go to piece number 4. The 7 injuries and 5 illnesses, turn, look behind you, they'll be gone. And piece number 4 has 3 parts. So the first part, we have the hands on the hips like this. We continue with our hip width stance. We're going to turn the head to the side as we exhale. And bring the head back to the front as we inhale. It's very important that you keep your eyes open, and when you turn to the side, actually look behind you and visualize your illnesses and injuries left behind. Exhale, turn to the side. Inhale, come back to the front. Exhale out. Inhale in. Okay, that's the first part. the second part, we put our hands like this, and I'll turn around so you can see the position of the fingers pointing towards the spine. Everything else is the same. Exhale out, look behind you, inhale in. Okay, and now the third position, like this, with shoulders down and relax, so don't lift your shoulders up. And everything else is the same. Exhale out, inhale in. And that's the fourth piece. Now we're going to do an analysis of the 8 pieces of brocade. Now, the first thing I want to mention is that before you start the 8 pieces or any other Qigong routine, you want to spend a few minutes calming down body, mind, and breath. So you just stand in a relaxed position like this, gaze level. Eyes can be closed, open or half closed, open or half open. And breathe long, slow, deep, even breaths. Bring your mind inside the body. Pay attention to letting go of any muscle tension, and aligning your posture so that your body is centered, and relaxing your breath. It really helps if you can perform the Qigong in front of a full-length mirror so you can check yourself to see that your posture is aligned, or alternatively, you can use your laptop and the camera function and put yourself on the screen. Either record yourself or put yourself on the screen live and check your posture on your laptop screen. So you don't want to be tilted to the side. You don't want to have your head tilting. You want to feel as though your head is gently lifted. You don't want to be having your head tilted forward and looking down. And that's true throughout the form, except for a couple of movements where the head position will be different. Okay. After spending a few moments in preparation, we start with piece number 1, which is 2 hands to hold the heavens to regulate the San Jiao. So piece number 1, remember, looks like this. Inhale and exhale. Lift up the heels. Now, be careful that you're not leaning to the side yet. You want to be straight. And yes, hands centered over the head, like this. Not over here, not over here. Also, arms stretched, but still relaxed. Not like that, okay? So we're not trying to get the maximum stretch. We're just trying to get a nice stretch, okay? Try to hold the heels up for 3 seconds. And you come down. Try to hold the heels up for 3 seconds. And you bend to the side. Now be careful. Want to do the bending from the waist. So don't bend like that. Bend like this. Keep the waist centered, okay? And do the bending in the waist, not with the lower body, okay? So that's hard on the joints here. So keep from the dantian downward, centered, and then bending from the waist up, okay? And we go to then piece number 2, which is left, right, bend the bow like shooting a hawk in the air. So the first thing is that we step the right foot out up to a double shoulder with horse stance. The wider your stance, the more of a workout you'll get with the 8 pieces. However, be careful not to stand so far out that you are going to hurt your knees or hip joints or ankles. So if you want to build up gradually to lower and lower, then do so gradually. Don't suddenly step out and take an enormously wide stance and then the next day say, oh, 8 pieces of brocade, no good, make my knees hurt. Okay, so not too wide. When I shoot a bow, feel like we're pulling a very strong bow. Goes off in the distance like this, okay? And we actually look out as though we're shooting. This simulates the arrow, so it's secret hand. We get to some of the enhancements where we're bending. The same thing as with the bending in piece number 1. Bend at the waist. Don't bend with, I can't even do it right. Don't bend like that with the knees, okay? Bend from the waist. This part stays stable, okay? When you do the turning pieces, the enhancements, keep the knees pointed straight ahead. Again, that means do the turning here, not with the knees. So don't do this. See how this foot over here rolls up like that? All right, so you don't want that. That's hard on the ankles, the knees, and the hips. So do the turning in the waist, not with the knees and ankles. Piece number 3. Left, right, lift singly to regulate the liver and spleen. So this one we have again hip width distance. So in order to make continuity between the movements, what we do is move the right foot in. We move in order to make continuity between the movements, we move the right foot out, where the movements call for a wider stance, and we move the right foot back in when the movements call for the hip width distance. Again, when you're lifting up the arm, just like piece number 1, only this is just one arm instead of 2, don't lock up. Okay? Don't lock up. The idea here being we're not getting a nice stretch on. In this case, with my left hand up, it's stretching the area of the spleen. Okay, so we get a nice stretch. We don't want to lock it up. You want the chi to be able to flow, but stretching up like this. Try to get your hand above your head and not out here, because if you pay attention to the stretching feeling in here, if your hand is out here, you don't get as much of a stretch as if your hand is over the head. Okay, so directly on the center line, like so. The lower hand then points fingers straight ahead, not in like this, because while this side's being stretched, this side is being relaxed. And if we turn like this, can you feel? It tightens the area here. We want this area to be relaxed, because it's, with the left hand up, it's the turn of the right side to be relaxed. Again, hand not locked up, arm not locked up. Feel as though both palms are pushing against slight resistance. But I described this pushing feeling as like maybe up to your waist in a pool of water, and you're pushing a float toy down. So it doesn't require you to do that. It just requires you to exercise a little bit of push down feeling, okay? We hold the position here with this stretch, and so our breathing pattern is going to be in and out. Hold the position in, out, and we make the healing sound here when the area around the organ, in this case it's the spleen, because we're working on the left side. We feel this area relax, we make the healing sound. Hu for spleen, hu, H-U. When we're in the extreme position, this is true of several of the pieces where we do an inhale while we're holding the extreme position. So make that inhale as deeply as you comfortably can. So not to bursting. I'm not going to go to bursting, but we're going to take maybe a little bit longer to fill the lungs and let the diaphragm drop down to enhance the massaging effect on the organ. So spleen's right below the diaphragm here. We breathe in, maybe 80–90%, okay, of capacity. So we have the spleen being stretched, and also now the diaphragm coming down and massaging it. And that's the whole point of these exercises, to massage the organs so that we can relax muscles and tissues and allow the chi to flow smoothly. We also build up chi in the organs, and particularly when we use the inner sound, the healing sound, we then release the chi we built up, helping to break up chi stagnation in the area around the organ, the interstitial tissues, and the channel that belongs to the organ. Okay. So same thing on the other side. Don't lock up. Hand on the center line. And lower hand points straight ahead. You may find that you're a little stiff or something here, so gradually don't all of a sudden pull this over and cause everything to tense up, but work on getting your hand over the center line over time to loosen up your shoulder muscles and allow the position to be correct. We also turn to the side with piece number 3. So when we turn to the side again, knees should stay straight ahead. Don't turn like this. Okay. See, can you see my left foot? The sole of it rolling up. We don't want that. We want the feet to remain firmly rooted on the ground. So don't do the turning in your ankles or knees. Do it in the waist. Okay. And then we go to piece number 4, which is pretty simple. We're just going to turn the head to the side and look behind us, because the piece name is the 5 illnesses and 7 injuries. Turn, look behind you, they'll be gone. So we want to keep the eyes open and turn to the side. So one thing you want to watch is that you turn with your neck, not with your torso. So keep your torso square to the front. Do the turning in the neck, because this piece is designed to work on the neck. If you look at a chart of the acupuncture vessels and channels, you'll see how many of them run up through the neck. And when the neck is tight, that inhibits the flow of qi through those vessels and channels. So we try to relax the muscles of the neck so that the qi can flow. And the qi gets trapped in this channel. When the qi slows down in this channel and get trapped in the head, causes headaches and other problems. So important to pay attention to the neck. We look behind. So a nice stretch here. And of course, if you feel any pain when you turn, then be careful not to cause any problems with your cervical spine. You may want to see a doctor if you have pain when you turn. Go slowly in coordination with your breathing, because of course it's Qigong. It's everything coordinated with the breath. The distinguishing features of Qigong exercise are that the mind, body, and breath are all coordinated in the exercise. So your mind needs to be inside the body, feeling what's happening there. Your movement should be coordinated with the breathing. And later on, when you become more adept at Qigong, you'll coordinate the movement of qi with your body and breath movements, using your mind to lead the qi. Speaking of which, if you know the Yang Chuan breathing, you can do Yang Chuan breathing during piece number 4, but that's taught separately. But you can combine them if you know how to do the Yang Chuan breathing. Keep your shoulders down and relaxed. So here, the shoulders should be relaxed, because the hands on the waist allow the shoulders to let go of tension. And then in the second position for piece number 4, also shoulders should be relaxed. And very importantly, since the hands are not resting anywhere, keep the shoulders relaxed in part 3 of piece number 4. Like this. That'll happen up here. Let go of tension. Let the shoulders relax. So that qi can flow in the muscles, here in the neck and at the base of the neck. In piece number 1, we introduced the healing sounds, and we have the healing sounds through several other pieces. When we use the healing sounds, we want to make them softly. And Chinese saying is the sound of no sound, which is to say a very soft sound. We don't want to make the sound too loudly because it will cause the vocal cords and the throat to tense up, and part of the effect of the sounds is that it releases qi, stagnant qi, out the throat. So the sound for the triple burner is shi, shi. When you make that sound, you should feel the qi release and flow out, and the other way the qi is released is through the interstitial tissues. So the triple burner, this whole area here, you'll feel the qi release flowing out the throat and flowing through the interstitium, which is the tissues that are between the organs. So you want to feel kind of a vibration as you make that healing sound. When we go to the healing sounds for the smaller parts of the body, like the liver and spleen, for example, we want to feel the sound resonate in the organs, say for example, spleen organ, and the healing sound for spleen, hu, hu. Again, visualize qi flowing out from the spleen into the spleen channel and into the interstitial tissues surrounding the spleen. That way we help to relieve any qi stagnation. And qi stagnation is one of the major causes of illnesses. And if we can promote the free flow of qi through the body, a lot of problems can be prevented. That's one of the major ways in which Qigong works to improve health.